Stephanie Milky here, aka KetoMOM, or often called mom, sis, Steffi, daughter, wife, aunt, and friend. Just like many of you, I carry a lot of titles. My favorite title is mom. I should probably say wife, which takes a lot of my time. But let's be honest, if you want to do something and do it well, you will make the time for it. Commitment is hard because we find ourselves overcommitted, but when you practice prioritizing, you will find out what is actually important and what you can let go. With the KetoMOM podcast, you will learn together how to manage our time, commit to the most important things in life, and I will equip you with the tools you need to feel qualified each step of the way. My name is Stephanie Milky, and welcome to the KetoMOM Secrets podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to the KetoMOM page. My name is Stephanie, and we are going to talk about changing the wires in your mind. And actually, it's super interesting because if you've been following our family at all, you would know that at the beginning of the summer, so if you're currently listening, watching live, it's September, but last June, our second daughter, Emery, was thrown from a horse. I'll tell you all this for a reason. Because here's the deal. We're going through this book. We're talking about winning the war in your mind. In today's chapter, we're talking about the wiring in your brain, why you do the things you do, how easy it is to do the same things because you have actual pathways in your brain that makes it seem easier for you to make certain choices and not change and make better choices. So first of all, I'm going to tell you about my daughter in a second and how I've actually seen and understand the neural pathways that he talks about in this book. But before we dive into that, if you're brand new here, I would love for you to post a new below. I would love to meet you, connect with you, help you on your journey. And if you're not, and you've been here for a while, thank you for tuning in. Your presence matters. You can always go to ketomomsecrets.com. It is our blog. It's our website. You can click on book club, recipes, how to get started. There's so much information. Or you can just tune into the page here every day for recipes and different things to help you on your journey. All right? So every morning, my goal is to help you with your mindset because I feel like hands down, that's way more important than giving you a recipe. Although if you send me a message, I'll help you with anything, any question that you have. All right. So here's what I want you to understand. We're going through chapter 4. If you're following along, here's the book. I'm going to read to you a little bit, give you a thought to take throughout your day. Whatever you choose to do with it is up to you. Here's the question. Why do we lack the power to live in the way that we want? And why do we often make so many irrational and self-defeating decisions? Why do we go for the donut? Why do we skip the gym? Why do we make the unhealthy choice? Although this morning we woke up and we were like, I'm going to do it today. But why do we make the other decisions? It has to do with your neural pathways. He talks about this. And you want to know something interesting? We've been learning a lot about that because our daughter, who was thrown from a horse in June. We had been working through concussions. We had been working on healing her. And one of the doctors that we're seeing talked about her neural pathways, talked about working through fear, talked about a lot of different things that could be if we didn't work through it. And so there's different things that Emery does every single day, every night before she goes to bed to retrain her brain, to re-say certain things. It's like affirmations. There's things that she does every day that she's been doing from the time we went to the doctor every day, even till now, to retrain her brain to think differently, to retrain her brain to not be afraid, to retrain her brain. She's creating different neural pathways with the words that she's speaking and the things she's believing. So it's interesting because that's what we've been diving into for the last three months. And it's been great to watch and to hear from a biblical perspective because this book is written from a pastor and from a scientific perspective of understanding people, understanding the brain and actual neural pathways. So I'm going to read some things to you. My hope is you just listen and you can be encouraged, inspired, maybe encouraged to do something different in your life if you need something different. There's some great things that he will say that I hope to get you thinking on your own life. So, are you ready? I think you're great. Why do we try so hard to change but end up doing the same things that we hate? What are some things that you do every day, but you're like, I told myself I wasn't going to do that again. And then you do it again. or you make the not greatest choice, right? He says, we have crossed wires in our brain. He says, for example, you've decided, I'm going to commit to stop arguing with my spouse, and then you keep arguing with your spouse or your kids, right? I worry nonstop, even though I know it's a waste of time, and it makes me sick. Exaggerating to impress other people, although that's not the kind of person that I am. I freak out on my credit card bill because it's so high, but it's because I buy unnecessary purchases. He says, why do we scroll on our phones for hours instead of talking to our kids or our spouse? Why do we decide that you are going to lose weight one day or one morning or one meal and then find ourselves grabbing the soda, the candy bar, or anything at a gas station? Like, why do we do these things? Why do we argue? Why do we spend the money when we don't have it? Why do we worry ourselves sick? Why do we do these things? He says, you have crossed wires. And he goes, a lot of people do it. Most people do it. And they've got to learn how to uncross them and rewire it. He says, the reason we make these poor decisions is because of how our brain works. So we need a solution that works with the way that we think. We have to not only recognize the unhealthy habit. We've talked about this the last couple of days. If you haven't watched the last couple of lives, we talked about the awareness, the recognition of the things you're doing. It's like thinking about what you're thinking. And then he goes, we have to figure out an underlying problem, and then we're going to rewire it. If you want to win a war in your mind, we have to be willing to rewire our thought patterns and rewire our brain. We all know what it feels like to be in a rut. Thinking the same thoughts, doing the same things, experiencing the same problems is like we're hopelessly entrenched on a muddy, rugged back road. Your tires are dug in, you're stuck in the mud. He goes, we all know what it feels like to be doing the same thing, and you want to get out of that rut, but you don't know how, and it's comfortable, and you know how to do it because you've always done it. But in order to get out of the rut, you got to have an awareness, you got to have an understanding, and you have to go, all right, it's going to be hard. I'm going to have to battle that old rut in order for me. I'm going to have to battle. It's going to be a discipline. It's going to be a choice every single day, but I can do it, right? You're probably thinking of like, here's one thing I need to do better at. Think about that. You can share below if you want to. Let's talk about rewiring our brains. And that's where he goes into the conversation. I don't read all of this to you, but he goes into like the actual neural pathways and how when you think things over and over again, it becomes a natural thought process. Your habits become like, whether they're good or bad habits become routine, right? And you've got to get out of that habit. He goes, in a similar way, repeating thoughts create paths in our brain. Your brain is designed to look for patterns and create neuropathological pathways to help you keep thinking the things you keep thinking and doing the same things you keep doing. So now we go, oh, I have an awareness. My brain does this. I think this. I want to eat that. I want to feel comfortable because it's what I've always done. I'm comfortable. I might not like it, but food brings me comfort. Laziness of watching TV brings me comfort. Scrolling on social media brings me comfort. I feel good. It's already there. I've done it over and over again. And I cannot get the results that I want or hit the goals that I want to hit by doing that same thing. So now you have an awareness. That's why you do what you do. It's easy. It's like tires dug in a mud in your brain. All right? So, thinking that thought or doing that thing again and again eventually becomes effortless. Remember how great you got at explaining your favorite hobby, playing your favorite sport or game. The more often you do something, the easier it becomes. Unknowingly, you create these well-traveled neural pathways that made something easier than more difficult. So that's why when they say in order to create a new habit or a new system, you've got to do it X amount of time. Some people say 21 days, some people say 30 days. The doctor that we're working with for Emery and her brain, she said at least 60 days. So I think we're on 90 of Emery every night using her words and rephrasing her neural pathways of who she is, of not being afraid. She basically quotes all of these different things that have been written down. She does certain things with her eyes to retrain her brain to not be afraid, to not be fearful, to believe that she can do things. Like, she's telling herself that every single day. So you could do something as simple as getting up in the morning. If you read the book, The Miracle Morning, I've talked about this book a lot, but he talks about getting up in the morning and owning your day. We talk about reading and journaling and sitting in silence and just owning your morning, whether it's for 6 minutes or 60 minutes. And one of them is affirmations. So if you simply wrote down, like, it's like seeing yourself who you want to become, but you might not be that person. So for example, don't go, I want to be healthy. Okay, I want you to say, I want to be healthy. I want to be strong. I want to lose the weight. I want to feel better. But your choices have to come from an already healthy person, right? So instead of like going around the same rut of like grabbing the same foods, you're going to have the discipline and the awareness and the understanding of it's going to be hard. It's going to take some time. I've got to retrain my brain. And you can simply go, when you're making that choice, you can go, what would a healthy person do? What would healthy Stephanie choose? Because if I'm working on, like, if I'm going to skip the gym, I could tell myself, well, healthy, strong, fit Stephanie that I foresee in my future would not skip the gym. Healthy, strong, fit you would pack your lunch. You would take the extra time to prep your meals on a Sunday or a Saturday or whatever works for you. You would learn how to control your tongue and say, hey, a supportive spouse would not yell at my spouse. A supportive spouse would sit and listen. And maybe you just need to shut your mouth with your spouse or your kids. Hey, healthy, financially set-free person wouldn't go to Target every day they feel emotionally sad. Or they would take off the shopping apps off their phone. Or they would set a timer on their phone so they couldn't go and scroll or shop. Like, you've got to put some things in place to see yourself as if you've already done it. And then you've got to start recreate. You guys, it's the difference between your brain and what you do currently today is legitimately like a tire driving in the mud, and you already have those pathways done, to now going, okay, I'm restarting my car. I'm restarting my mind and my engine, and I'm basically driving on ice, super solid ice. The new system, the new habit, the new going to the gym, the new making better food choices. It's new to prep my meals. It's new to say no to the donut. And I'm driving on ice. But the longer I drive on that ice, let's not say we're driving on a lake. Let's just say it's ice with a teeny little bit of water underneath it. But the longer I drive on that, and the more comfortable I get with that, the ice will start melting to create a new pathway, right? So that you can dig your tires into that. And it takes time. It could take 3 months. Listen, January, February, March before the ice starts to melt, right? Can you do something for 90 days, 120 days to create systems and habits of like new ruts, new good ruts, new habits, new systems? Like, there isn't an overnight. You don't get to have it overnight. You didn't get here overnight. You're not going to get there overnight. You've created some not great systems. You've got to recreate different systems. It's going to take discipline and time and effort, and it's going to take the power of saying no. You're going to need a solid why. You might slip up and actually fall off the ice and land in your old rut, and you're going to have to get yourself out of the old rut and get back on the ice and keep going. It's up to you. There's things that I wish I could do for you. There's things that I'm like, oh, for people, I'm like, I wish I could just yank you out of that mud. I can't. You have to do it. But I can help bring awareness and suggestions to you. All right, so he says, you were designed to smoothly, effortlessly create and fall into habits. And so it's that is helpful, like things like brushing your teeth, right? That is harmful there's things that you can do. So if you find yourself stuck in an unhealthy rut, there are some good news. He goes, you can recreate it. You can stop what you're doing. You want to know what's great about this book is there's so many questions, and it's actually like an activity book. So little things like you can have the awareness, you can write it down, you can, it gives you like here's what I need you to do. Recognize the rut. And he goes, I'm going to give you some exercises. And the simple exercises would be write down the ruts that you feel like you're in. He goes, I want you to write down the things that you want to do. And you're just going to start speaking it over yourself. You're going to start doing different exercises to help you on their journey. For right now, I would say write down the rut that you're stuck in. And then on another, like next to it, go, well, this is what I want to do. And you're going to have to visibly walk yourself through it. How do I do that? What are the habits and systems I need to create? You don't just fall into your goals. You don't just get lucky and lose the weight. You don't just get lucky and get stronger. You physically have to put your hands to work, your mind to work, take some time and put in the work to get to what you want, to get it. It all takes time. It all takes a lot of effort. It all takes a lot of energy and discipline. But if you were to do that, even for 1 year of your whole life, like, oh, I've always been this way. Well, guess what? If you changed it and you've always been this way, but you can switch a couple things and do it for a year, you'll be a completely different person. So that is my awareness for you today of the rut that you're stuck in. Where are your tires that you want to change? Let's get yourself on some ice and start a new rut, a new healthy habit, a new system over time. This is the book that we're reading. So if you want to, I've actually already gone through this book. You can go to KetoMomSecrets.com, click on book club, and you can watch the older videos, or you can tune in here until we're done. We'll do chapter 5 tomorrow. Oh no, we're traveling tomorrow. Really early. We're going to Kentucky, actually Ohio and Kentucky. If I have the internet, I'll do it. We're leaving really early in the morning. I'll do it at some point. I don't know if I'll just continue to tune in. Maybe I'll do it at a stop when we stop for a bathroom break and give you a thought, or just watch my stories, because my stories, I'll give you different insights and things too. You can always message me with questions. Continue to tune into the page. I'm always here to help. I answer all the questions. So ask questions. Let me help you get started. I hope you have an incredible morning. You are worth it. You are worthy. You 100% can do this. It just takes some mindfulness, awareness, asking for help, following those who've already done it, right? Because it'll help you go further, faster. Here's the book. Take a screenshot if you're watching. And that's it. So I hope you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.